Hello, dear listeners. My name is RJ, and this is an FPS. I almost said this was a game. It's not.
No,
Starting great.
no.
This is an FPS. I'm gonna just say again, this will be in the description as well, but like, content warnings are a thing. Please make sure you're okay with listening to this before you listen to this. Also, this is gonna have spoilers for like all the Protect the Town games so far, just so
Oh yeah.
you're aware, probably. So there's that as well. But, without further ado, would my fantastic partner in this FPS like to introduce himself?
Hi, I'm Hex. Uh, I'm here playing one shitty teenager. It's gonna be great.
Meanwhile, I'm playing a fucking platypus.
Yup.
Oh,
We love to see
Toonkind
it.
D&D is so fucking neat.
It's
Alrighty.
great.
Um, can we start out with Barrow rolling a perception check at advantage? Because I figure you've been waiting for this, just to see if you
Oh
can get the just to
sure.
see if you can get the timing down on this.
Oh sure. Which is hilarious because he actually does not have good perception, but that's what happens when you. Well, never
Well,
mind.
yeah, roll it
Let's see if
again.
he can.
See if you get higher.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Nope. Okay. So that's
Nope.
a
Okay.
dirty
So
21.
21. All right. Yeah, you managed to nail the timing on this. So it's actually kind of astounding that you managed to nail the time on this because Perrin is a very quiet, semi-aquatic, mammal. Naturally very quiet. Even when he's not really trying to be. But you do manage to nail this. So you managed to spin around just in time to see him like sneak back through the door, look up, catch your eye line, and just freeze.
Mm-hmm. So here's the quick question. How long has Perrin been gone?
Probably the better part of a day.
Cool. So how's he looking right now? This does determine Barrow's initial.
Roll me an insight.
Oh shit. He doesn't have that, RJ.
And roll it at advantage.
He's a fucking moron. I'm sorry. That's a
13, that's not bad.
13.
At first glance, he looks alright. You can see, just hints. Just very small hints. His shoulders are slightly slumped. Actually, his whole posture is slightly slumped as opposed to the very upright, very rigid, regimented, stance that you're used to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you get with the 13.
Okay. So Barrow spins in his chair, notes that Perrin has frozen, and immediately just goes, "So where the hell have you been?"
I forgot any dice for this. I don't think we'd have gotten far enough in the sign language lessons for free communication yet. But
Not yet. He can probably get bits and pieces. Actually, let me roll an intelligence real quick.
ooh, yeah, actually.
That one thing he can do really well.
3 minutes in, 5 roll.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Nope. That's a nat one. He
Yep.
is struggling with the sign. Cool. We love to see it.
Alright, well, that was a 4 for hammer space, so he, like, carefully reaches up, pulls his hat off, sticks a hand in, pulls out a notepad and pen, scribbles out a short message and holds it up. And it
Yep.
is, I've been smoothing things out with Eli.
You don't need to roll insight for this. Barrow is leaning back in the chair, and he looks very much like he does not believe you. And, is he gonna... Yeah, for the ease of this, he does have his fucking little headset on, and yes, the cat ears are still there. He doesn't care anymore. He's kind of gotten used to it. In fact, they're kind of mimicking his emotions right now. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
He wants to be able to communicate and be angry, but the microphone is gone, so he's not talking platypus. He's figured that bit out.
Awesome.
Oh god. But he kind of just levels Perrin with this very like I don't believe you look, and he just were you smoothing things out or were you reporting in?
So I was smoothing things out because that's what I do. I'm a spy.
You you're a spy. You just kind of stated that. You also he kind of just makes like a vague like gesture to all of him like
Well, I mean, I'm a lot of things. I thought you'd know them at this point.
yeah, yes, I've gathered that. Let me roll one more. Let me roll one more insight on him
Still
because
an advantage because you
yep,
need it.
yep, Barrow, you sweet poor idiot.
14.
14. That's slightly better.
You get a little bit more. Perrin looks very tired. And
Very tired.
not just in an exhaustion kind of way.
Okay. Uh Barrow's kind of squinting. He's still very hostile in his posture. Like he's trying to be quiet because I assume at least Lock-on's sleeping. Bro is
Yeah.
probably charging quietly in the corner or something. I don't know.
It's probably pretty late, yeah.
Um but Barrow is absolutely just like leveling Perrin with this angry and scrutinizing look. And he doesn't stand up from the chair, but he does like lean forward and put his elbows on the table, and then he just goes, "What were you telling them?"
Perrin takes a moment to gather his thoughts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and goes, uh, partly informing them of the plan, partly ensuring or persuading them that I do have this under control. They don't need to send out a team to come arrest you and whomever else might show up. Trying to keep them off our backs while still keeping them trusting enough that we can get resources.
And they and you convinced them? He does not sound convinced. Hmm? Did I lose you?
He does
Oh, there you go.
he does pause for a moment. Um, roll insight.
Why do you make my poor stupid boy do insight?
We'll take the 11 because otherwise that's a 0. 11.
Zero.
Uh,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna roll an anti-deception. Uh,
Anti-deception.
anti-deception. Um, this is gonna be.
I feel like that's persuasion, but you know.
I mean, maybe. Um, so. What was it? 3 on the dice. If we're doing persuasion, that's +3. It's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that Perrin is kind of what's the word that I'm looking for here? Uneasy.
Okay.
And he does pause and then he goes, they're trusting me as much as they ever will.
They're trusting you as much as what you cut out at that last one.
As much as they ever will.
Oh, okay. I I think with that response, Barrow's initial reaction is kind of it's more like a flippant comment than anything. He's just they don't seem to trust you a whole hell of a lot to begin with.
Perrin flinches.
I'm sorry, Perrin. They don't. He's just a teenager. Uh, he kind of like he catches that and just what? I mean, based on everything you've told me, they seem pretty suspicious of you. And given that you haven't gone rogue, and he makes quotations with his fingers at that, like kind of implying that you're going rogue right now and in denial about it, but he just says you haven't gone rogue. Um, oh, brain, please pick up your train of thought again. Shit.
Felt that.
Fuck. It just. Oh, fuck. Hang on. Fuck. God damn it. I hate this.
Felt that. You come up with a really cool, like, fucking turn of phrase, and it just, nope, it's gone.
Nope. Gone. Fucking gone. Hang on. Hang on. I'll find. Because they. God. And you haven't gone rogue, so you're trying. Oh, okay. So it seems to me that you're trying to save face and get back in their good graces right now.
No.
He blinks at that. All right. Then why are you still here? Then why are you still with them?
Roll another insight!
Oh my god! My poor boy! Barrow!
Jeez.
Barrow, my darling! Okay.
13, okay. Aaron's hands are shaking now.
Oh.
And you can see the unease is more than that.
It's okay.
And he lets out a short breath, and then he goes, because it's not safe for me to leave yet. And by this point, he's no longer looking at you, he's staring at the floor.
Yep, okay. Barrow kind of frowns at that because he does recall the conversation that they had prior about Perrin's quote unquote cover family slash fucking family. I mean, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of roll insight on Barrow, actually.
Okay, alright.
Because I just realized a thing.
23.
Fuck. Yeah, okay. So with a 23, you say that, and he's frowning at you, and then you get the if you happen to look at him, because there is a very he shifts very noticeably in his seat, and his posture is suddenly very almost like different, guarded. There is a look of this is familiar territory in his eyes. Something about what you just said is very familiar to him, in a way that is very personal. And he kind of crosses his arms over his chest in a guarded way. And he's still trying for anger. He's still trying to be angry and upset, but it's not quite there anymore. It's what you get when a teenager is realizing, oh, excuse me, I'm I don't like this, but I'm still trying to be mature, basically. Uh, and he kind of just says, so then why are you taking this risk? Fuck.
He he looks at you and he glances over to where the other two are
Mm-hmm.
and he sighs, leans back against the wall and slumps down into a seated position and he looks exhausted. He looks awful. There are bags under his eyes that you're just now noticing. His hands are still shaking. And that tremor is making its way up his arms.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's like kind of given up the facade, you can see there is on just on the very tip of his shoulder, there is some gauze that has been colored blue, colored teal to match his fur to try and hide it.
Oh shit. Yeah, Barrow tweaks that and is like, I don't want to say he stands up, but instead he kind of instead of waiting for an answer, he tweaks that and he just goes, "What happened?" And he like yeah, his he yeah.
You think Arlo doesn't already know that I'm gonna go rogue? They know me more than I know me. But if I do anything, they'll respond. Not against me, but against my family. And I can't have that going on. I have to protect them.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He just says, yeah, he just says, you think Eyelight doesn't already know that I'm gonna go rogue? Of course they do.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
know
yeah.
me better than I know me. If he does, they're gonna respond against his family, and he can't have that. He has to protect them.
Yep.
Um,
Again, I'm still going off that 23 insight. There is that look of this is familiar. And Barrow is starting to like he's still sitting up straight, but like his posture is definitely closing off.
me being here, it's not just because this is my job. It is because this group is probably the best chance I will have of getting freedom.
What do you mean?
He grins at you, and it is not a nice expression. It does not reach
Mhm.
his eyes. Eli
Mm.
raised me as a soldier, as a spy, as a perfect little obedient tool. There was an incident about a year ago whereupon I disappeared for 2 days. I don't remember what happened, but I got back and i.s.p.y came for me. And my first thought wasn't, ah, yes, these are my retrieval team. It was, this is a threat. And they didn't like that. I was almost terminated there and then.
Barrow flinches.
It was a last-ditch effort in a Zone of Truth spell that stopped that from happening. Agent P is their best agent, but he's not good. Not a good agent. Never has been. Our line needs to be stopped.
Barrow, he kind of mulls this over. So what then? We find we get Sid and then we go take down a government organization. Is that
He kind of shrugs a bit. If you want to, that would accelerate things a bit.
kind of doesn't know how to respond to that initially. Did not expect such nonchalance. Hmm. He runs a hand down his face, like trying, like thinking, racking his brain. And he kind of eventually just, you're, you want to do this, and what? What? Cha- hmm. What changed? Because, or what? He kind of talks to himself for a minute, like, no, it wouldn't have been. I, why now? I mean, I get that we're your best bet, but why not? I mean, from the sounds of it, this is always this. You make it seem like this was always going to happen.
What does he mean by this is always going to happen? Asking out of curiosity.
You're you were always going to go rogue, I guess would be the best.
Mm.
You seem pretty aware of what they. Okay, here we go. You seem pretty aware of like whatever it is that they do. That's because Barrow doesn't know the extent of what i.s.p.y does, uh, but he's kind of getting a picture, and it's not great. And just you were gonna always go rogue. Apparently, you've not painting a very nice picture of this of them. Why wait till now? Why not sooner before you got in too deep?
You make it sound like I had a choice. Been with Ally from birth, remember? And I wasn't always gonna go rogue. There was an incident with my cover family about 6 months before the the memory thing. That was the start. Before that, I was happy to carry out their whims. I didn't know any better.
He kind of frowns at that.
He kind of like helplessly spreads his hands, like, what do you want from me? When you're raised with something that's all you know, like,
Yeah. Barrow flinches again. Again, it's that this is familiar kind of deal. Uh, and he just kind of, right. Uh, and he's think you can visibly see his mind is work. Like if he were a tune, he would have gears just rotating furiously above his head. This kid is working a mile a minute trying to like get his thoughts in order now. Uh, because you have presented him a follow up uh goal, I guess would be the best way to put it. So he's kind of okay. Say that at least I don't know what's gonna happen when we finally get Sid back. I don't really know what to expect there. I don't know if the others would be willing to, well, help after that. But say that I do agree to help you. What, I mean, have you been planning this for a while? Do you have a plan?
current plan is to sneak into the headquarters in northern Firma. That's where Captain Cypher is at the moment. And you can roll history on that name if you want.
Yep, let's see what Barrow can. Oh, you actually have good history. Hey,
I
all right.
fucking hope so.
Yeah, he does.
Intelligence caster that he is. Oh, 23. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Hey, all
Um,
right. Hell yeah.
Captain Cypher is the current head of i.s.p.y, and he has been for about the past 30 years or so.
Oh, damn, all right.
Um, actually, as well, um, you're not that old, but
Nope.
you have likely heard from other criminals while gathering information about i.s.p.y. i.s.p.y didn't used to be this ruthless. It mostly dealt in Einquell with, like cartoonish nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that. It never used to be a fucking uh it never used to be a secret police force.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that changed 30 years ago when Captain Cypher became head.
All right.
It
Okay.
slowly turned more and more ruthless. The child soldier practice was initiated instead of just taking their ranks from uh people who wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he
And
he he continues. Plan is to sneak into headquarters in Faruma, because where Captain Cypher is, and kill Captain Cypher.
Barrow doesn't seem very like he just nods like that's deceptively simple in its description, but
If there is
it's a
anything that I have learned in my time doing this, it is no plan survives first contact with the enemy. Make it as simple as possible, and there's less parts where it could fail.
yeah, that's he kind of gestures again around like at their surroundings like yeah, that's a pretty good way to look about it. And then he leans back, just. I. Hmm. Hmm.
There's a
What
few
would this
other
be?
there's a few
Oh, go.
other sub objectives to the plan. Destroying
Uh
the
huh.
GIAS equipment. Um,
He sits up at that. Excuse me?
hmm, I didn't realize you didn't know about that. It's um, it's a countermeasure against rogue agents. I
So not only do they raise soldiers, they then force them.
Not always. It's I I he like is like the platypus equivalent of biting his lip, trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
out what the fuck to say, how he wants to say it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If an agent is uh considered not enough of a risk that termination would be required, but still a flight risk, that's they it's not used on just any agent.
The way he scowls is just. He is not pleased at all. Okay. I kind of want to break that personally.
Yeah, same. Um, if we can get Dave on our side as well, things will be easier.
Who?
He's one of the few humanoid members of i.s.p.y. He uh he joined up about 2 years ago. Some relation to Cypher, I don't know, but he's seen what's going on. He hates it as much as I do, but he has to keep his mouth shut.
Barrow kind of nods at that. Okay.
Thing is, if we can get him on side, he has access to most of the security systems in headquarters, which will make our lives a hell of a lot easier.
So priority then is getting him on our side.
Mhm. But we still have to get in first. He can't
Mm-hmm.
leave headquarters.
Of course not. Well, I I'm sure you can come up with a good way to get us into headquarters when that time comes. But then, well, from there, I'm pretty sure if I've learned anything about my time here, it's that the second we get in, it's all gonna go to hell.
That does actually draw a snort from him.
He just, again, gestures at, well, am I wrong?
No, no, that's probably a fairly fair estimation.
Okay. If, and there is a lot of emphasis on that if. if when I find Sid, she's okay, and we can smooth that over, then, well, I've always wanted to take down a government organization.
He looks up at you, and for the first time, there is a glint in his eye, and it looks like
Mhm.
hope.
Mhm. He, he just kinda he's trying to be nonchalant, like, he's trying so hard. Just, I mean, I've already committed to the villain bit, might as well, might as well make it full official.
Fair enough.
He sits back after a moment. And he seems to
Don't die, God.
I'm okay. I'm okay. He seems to be thinking, and uh he's he's not a quiet thinker. Uh he doesn't talk, but he fidgets a lot and like clicks his tongue, taps his fingers, things like that.
Mhm.
Uh and you can tell just by, how much he's fidgeting, his brain is now like again, he's working extreme like he's got full on like I am hyper fixating on this thing. We are going to I am figuring this out right now. Uh kind of deal for the moment. And he eventually kind of out of the blue goes, "So will they give us supplies?"
He does actually crack up laughing at that one, just the fucking non sequitur. But collects himself fairly quickly and goes, "Yeah,
He
they've
nods at
agreed to
that.
send the shipment over."
He nods at that. I can keep a bit aside to help and to get us. He then continues with this non sequitur because it does play into the initial thought, which was, okay, good. If they send us a little more than what I'm asked, which was already more than what I needed because replicating Sid's blueprints is really fucking hard, uh, then we will have enough left over for me to do a couple of extra things. And, well, if you need something, I can build it. He doesn't sound prideful, it's just that's like a fact of I can build it, I can make this. So, I can get us some prep for that when the time comes. I don't know what I I don't know what would be required, but I can if you get me any kind of schematic, I can make it.
Do my D8, do my D10. Where'd my D10 go? There it is. Okay, cool. That's a 6. He once again pulls his hat off his head, reaches
Mhm.
into it, pulls out 2 blueprints, tosses them at you,
Cool.
and then doesn't put his hat back on. He kind of rests his elbows on his knees and, like, dangles his hat from its brim between his
Mm-hmm.
fingertips.
Okay. Barrow he catches them, rolls them open, gives them a look.
Alright, so there is one for a grapple gun. Um, and there is one for uh it looks like a card. But you take a closer look at it and you see that there is actually a chip that gives off a certain radio signature, and you realize, oh, this is a spoofed identity card.
Oh, I think for that one, I think I'm gonna actually need him to roll an intelligence for that one because he's okay at 12.
12.
He's not up to date on all of the latest technologies. He's learning very quickly, but he's so he can kind of like he kind of squints at that second one and it takes him a moment to like parse what he's looking at and then uh he glances up and he just says, "I I'm not quite sure what this one is, but looking at it, if you give me time, I'm pretty sure I can make that. The other one is easy, but uh
Just at the hat again, pulls out his ID card. Gets one of these. It's got a chip in it that emits a certain signal that can be picked up by certain receivers. Identity card thing. That's that back.
Barrow kind of has a pause and just, can that track you?
Not in my hammer space. It's not technically in this plane.
He has that like confused and then goes, right, tune. Okay. Okay,
Don't
good.
think about it too hard.
He makes a motion of like, yeah. But he spreads both blueprints out and just, yeah, I can make these. The card will be difficult because it's smaller, but yeah, I think I can do it. Yeah.
Well, I'm not an artificer, but I am something of a tinkerer. Could always give you a hand. Especially because, and he raises his hands and wiggles his fingers, because, you know, smaller hands and smaller fingers.
Yeah, he tiny. Barrow actually snorts at that. Just yeah, that'll your tiny little hands will help, yes. He is he is like scrutinizing he glanced up briefly at you, but now he is just focused on these blueprints.
Understandable. Perrin just, like, watches him for a moment,
Mhm.
and there's a pause as he just lets the silence rest, and then he just goes, I thought you'd. Never mind.
What? You thought I'd what?
Honestly, I thought you'd interrogate me harder than this.
I I mean, I can still try that. I can still interrogate you hard. If you want, I can shout and scream. I'm still kind of angry,
Um,
but it's roll me an insight.
Natural 20, baby!
Oh, fuck.
27.
All right, we love to see it. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Uh, so he's he looks briefly at you, and then he kind of again he glances back down at the blueprints, and he hunches. It's very it's a very subtle motion, but you see his shoulders kind of hunch. And again, it's that kind of closed off posture, but he's trying to not make it so obvious. Uh, but he kind of just, I, I don't, I, I just, I don't get it, but I get it. And the way he says that, again, this is something personal. Like he does in fact understand not necessarily the secret organization part, but un- the the uh unwilling association, accomplice.
Hmm.
He like he understands that, and it's something that is incredibly personal in some way to him. And he just kind of, I I get it. I Yeah, I just didn't feel the need to push any more than that.
You know, when all this is over, I figure the boys would probably like to meet you. You'd probably get on like a house on fire.
He looks a little shocked at that. Just uh yeah, somehow I yeah, uh he doesn't quite know how to respond to that, really. He looks a little awkward, actually. Moves to kind of rubs the back of his neck gingerly, carefully avoiding the wires there.
Just a thought. You don't have to if you don't want.
I how this is for me. How old are they? The
Um, they're kind of preteen would be yeah,
Okay.
between like 10 and 12,
Okay.
somewhere around there.
So, yeah. So Barrow just kind of again awkwardly rubbing at his neck. I didn't I don't I'm not I've never had to interact with kids. Uh completely ignoring the fact that he technically still is a kid.
Perrin just kind of chuckles quietly and goes, "If you're worried about them not being able to keep up, they've been building these kind of things since they were young, like me-sized young."
He kind of snorts at that. Just less. I. I. Yeah. Okay. Uh. I don't want to make you roll another insight because that nat 20 was great. No, this kid is. The idea of interacting with other people around his age, even if it's a 5-year difference, is like he does not know how to do that. Get the idea? This kid did not have friends.
My heart goes out to this poor fucking teenager.
Yup. Yup. uh, I mean, I won't say no to meeting them, I guess. I just, yeah. Again, he's just, it's that awkward, I don't know what to do.
It'll take time. You'll figure it out. You're smart.
His ears kind of stand up a little straighter at that. Not his actual ears.
The cat ears.
The cat ears also stand up straighter. They've been emoting pretty well for him this whole time, but but his also his actual elf ears also stand up. Well, his half elf ears. He just stands a little straighter, like he doesn't respond. It's just he stands a little straighter. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, Sid'll want to stay around a little bit. You can actually meet her.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. He finally, uh, he finally rolls the blueprints back up and slides them across the table back towards Perrin.
Perrin will stuff them in his hat.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up, wince. One hand kind of goes to his back before he quickly puts it down again.
Barrow notes that, and he's just, do you need, uh, and he kind of holds a hand out, like, I can, I can help with that a little. He does have cure wounds.
Yeah, Perrin looks hesitant. I'm not gonna make you roll insight for this. It's not hesitance because of who it is. It's hesitance because he's never had that before. Not that like freely offered. And also hesitance because touchy.
Touchy. Barrow kind of again does that like shrug of attempted nonchalance and is just, I mean, and you don't need to roll insight. This is him obviously just like trying to make up a different reason beyond I care. He's fucking moody ass teenager. I mean, if you're gonna be, you're helping me and I need you at, your best. And if you've got this, then it's not your best. So we need to, it,
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. He will walk over with an arm's reach, and then turn around, ready for you to take off the bandages and do whatever the hell you're gonna do.
Yep. God, this. So he does. He carefully. Again, this seems familiar to him. He is moving in a way that says that he knows he's done this before. He, carefully pulls the bandages off, being extremely careful of the fur. And then there's a slow exhale once he sees what everything looks like. Uh, yeah, I imagine it's not great.
It's not. This
Yeah.
close, you'd never really focused on it before, but this close, you can see that there are patches of fur that look thinner than the rest of his fur. Um,
Oh.
And there are areas where the fur is raised, areas where the fur dips down a little bit. And spanning across
Mm.
basically his whole back is a series of long, thin gashes, like someone took a lash to his back.
Okay, so, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Barrow lets out a slow exhale and roll perception for me.
Oh god, okay. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. 19.
Oh, okay, no, 19, yeah, okay. Uh, so he exhales and quietly, uh, as you hear a very soft, "Oh, what they do to you, Sid," before he kind of realizes what he said, and then gingerly you feel just a like the barest, it's not over the actual lash, but it's close enough to like it still stings, and he's just slowly casting cure wounds. Which I guess in this case it's more like he's just slowly making sure that everything like heals up properly.
Mm.
But uh again, he's moving in a way that says he's done this before, and this is something that he's used to.
There is that like initial flinch when
Mhm.
like first touch. And he's very tense, but as you're doing this, would he like try to avoid leaving scars?
Uh he tries. He's like he's going slow. He's trying to make sure everything closes appropriately. Like he's putting a lot more effort into this than you would probably initially think with just, curing wounds. But no, he is trying to make sure that they don't scar.
There's like the tenseness as he does this, and then the slow release of that tension being replaced
Mhm.
by confusion. Like, wait, what are why are you being so careful?
Uh he doesn't initially respond. Uh and then he just I uh let's see here. What's he gonna say?
6.
6. He kind of falters a moment, and then just uh I uh it's hab it habit. It's a habit. That was he was trying to like come up with anything, like any cover, could not, just settled on it's a habit.
Right. Fair.
He just keeps going. He does not elaborate beyond it's a habit.
Yeah. You will notice some of the bigger scars look like they did receive magical healing, but not much and with not
Mhm.
nearly as much care as you're putting into
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like there's a little gnarled twist toward like the kidney area. Where it would be the kidney area if this were a human, so I'm calling it that.
Yeah.
Where it looks like someone like stabbed him or whatever, but the
Yep.
wound was healed badly, and it's like left a puckered, raised gnarl.
He he doesn't comment. He's making mental notes of like, and there is a settling anger as he kind of continues to, and uh there's a settling anger as he, I guess, finishes, because I don't, I mean, it's his whole damn back, but he's going slow, but
To be
also
fair,
like,
his whole damn back isn't exactly a big area.
exactly, like
Platypus
there's
isn't
not a,
even 2 feet.
he's so fucking short. That's why I'm like, he's probably finishing by now, but like there's a settling anger in his like movements as he finishes with the last one. And he sits back and just says, there, uh, there might be a couple of scars, but yeah, you're good.
I mean, I'm used to scars at this point. That's fine. Thank you.
He, also has not, moved away from you, Perrin. He is still just kind of like perched, sitting. Or standing? Sitting.
Perrin kind of like he doesn't want to move because he doesn't want to break this fragile piece.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if he turns around, that'll probably uh give Barrow a good look at the scars on his front as well. And he, like, you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of sense the growing anger because once you've been in these kinds of situations for long enough, you get a sense for that.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. So he's kind of just standing there.
After a moment, he just goes, "You got any more? I still got healing."
No, not that's the only one.
He nods at that. Okay. Exhales slowly, just trying to calm himself down from that.
He takes a few steps away and turns around. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
folding his arms, to try and hide the worst of them. Um,
Can borrow roll perception to see them
you can
anyway.
roll perception. I'm gonna roll,
Yep.
don't fucking know. What proficiencies do you have? What would make sense for this? Um,
Oh,
five.
borrow, honey.
Well, if he rolls deception, that's like at least a
He
7.
can't. Yeah,
So
he can't. No, borrow doesn't see. This is what happens when your wisdom's garbage.
yeah, love it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he like looks at his watch and goes, "Oh, it's kind of late." Uh,
Borrow raises an eyebrow. Yeah, it is. You should go to bed.
hmm. Let me get something to eat first. I've not eaten yet.
He just kind of nods at that. There is no indication this kid is going to sleep anytime soon.
I'm not even gonna make you roll for this. Barrow, you can tell that this is the fucking it's kind of late comment was trying to break the awkwardness, but only succeeded in making it more awkward.
Borrowed. Hmm. He kind of sits back and is just, what? Like, starting to close off again in that fucking teenager way. Uh, I it's just healing. I did it before. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I used to do it a lot.
Roll insight.
Why do you make my boy do this?
3. 15. Okay.
Okay.
There is a look on Perrin's face like, but he doesn't say anything. He just says, do you want a sandwich? I'm making myself one.
Uh, he blinks because he was not expecting that. Just sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Goes, makes 2 sandwiches, hands one over to Barrow.
He's just he just like, I did not expect to get a sandwich out of this. Well, all right. Bites into it. Just quietly chewing. Like, he does not understand. He does not know what to do now. This poor kid.
Neither does Perrin, honestly.
Oh no, they're so awkward.
Just awkward, silent sandwich eating, and then Perrin just goes, well, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. Yeah. Barrow is equally just awkwardly like, yeah, okay. I, yeah. He has made no indication he is going to sleep.
Yeah, I think after the journey and the time spent together, like Perrin's aware of this. So he just
Yep.
climbs up onto the top of whatever the hell is tallest around here, like a fucking cupboard or wardrobe, or whatever. And curls
Mm-hmm.
up back to the room, goes silent.
Yep. Barrow kind of watches him do that for a moment, waits until he thinks at least that Perrin would be asleep. Which given what I know about Perrin, is he's probably not.
Yeah, spoiler
Uh,
alert. No,
no,
no.
these two tunes don't, or these two people don't fucking sleep. Barrow's not a tune. Uh, but he waits for like a good moment, and then he just slumps back in the chair and sighs in. I mean, you don't even need to roll insight. This is probably him being as open as possible because he thinks he's now, being not observed. So he just gives a very heavy and very, very weary sigh, scrubs a hand down his face, and then just kind of sits there with his head in his hands for a very long moment before he then has kind of just goes, okay. Pulls his helmet out from his bag of holding and starts to tinker with it again.
Alrighty.
And if Perrin is not going to interrupt him, he is going to do tinker with that all night.
Perrin will actually probably just listen to that for like the 3 hours it takes him to fall asleep, and
Mm-hmm.
then fall asleep.
Yep. I think that might, unless there's something else, uh,
I think
that you
that's
would like to. Yeah.
I think that's everything.
Yeah. I think that'll be it. I think we can call it there. We pan up from this quiet moment, I guess would be the best way to describe it, of just two insomniacs not sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of it.
Iris out.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for indulging me with that.
Absolutely. That was great. I have never wanted to take down a government organization more in my life.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Eventually.
hell yeah.
Eventually.
We'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Alrighty. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, listening audience, both those of you in the chat right now and those listening later on.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
thanks for listening, everybody.
hell yeah.
Bye.
Bye.